All right. Hello, hello. So there are a lot of reasons that people start side businesses. Now, sometimes it is out of, a passion, right? Like somebody's got this passion that they want to jump into entrepreneurship, right? But sometimes it ends up being a practical matter where you need to make money. So you start freelancing or selling something on the side. And other people start businesses because they can't find a job that meets their needs, the needs of their family, or they don't feel welcome or safe in a more traditional work environment. And I bring this up because I'm passionate about encouraging people to think think about entrepreneurship as an option, right? It doesn't need to be the only option, but it should be an option that's on the table when you're trying to figure out what your work adventure looks like, right? It doesn't have to be, I am just an entrepreneur, or I am just a teacher, or I am just in corporate, right? Like I just have a full-time job and that's it, right? So we want you to think about it not as the only option, but as an option. And having options expands your opportunity, right? So it's useful not to dismiss it out of hand just because either you've never thought about it before or because you don't know how to do it. So this week, we are talking about money. One, because I like to talk about money, because I think we need to talk about money more, but also because if you do start a side business, I want to make sure that you can maximize your revenue potential. I want you to know how you can make that 5K a month in your business. So welcome back to Launch Your Business Live, where we make making money online clear, simple, and successful. So you can build wealth and independence and work from home, turning your part-time business into your full-time income. Now, my name is Mary-Ann Lombardi. I am the founder and CEO of Mary-Ann Lombardi Coaching. I am an executive turned founder, author, former educator, and the single parent of the coolest kid on the planet. So I've been helping small business owners thrive for 20 plus years, and my mission is to do the same for you. So we're going to jump right in here. You may be thinking about starting a side business because you just want to learn and earn a little extra money to pay off student loans. Maybe you want to replace your current salary so that you can quit your job. Whatever your reason for earning that 5K a month with your side business, getting there is not as complicated as you think. And I want to start by dispelling a couple of myths. One is you do not need a fancy website or a business plan or some big legal structure to start a business, right? You just need something to sell that someone wants and is buying, okay? All of those things are not worth your time unless you have proven that you have a service or a product someone is buying. Usually they end up just distracting you from focusing on that. Myth number 2, you do not need to start a business that is exactly like the thing you are doing for your professional gig. So if you teach kids for work, you don't have to tutor kids for your side business. If you plan events at work, you don't need to plan events for your side business, okay? So your business will take advantage of those skills that you have, right? The things that you love to do, and will package them to meet a market demand. Now, I have a training from a couple weeks ago where we talk about the 3 simple steps for turning the things that you love into a profitable side business. And that gets into how to find your idea, your audience, and that audience. But today we're talking about the revenue model. We're talking about the money, right? How you're going to make money with that and how to make the math work. Because it's important to think about the money up front. So you make decisions about what kind of business you want to start based on the revenue that you can earn. We're also going to touch on the 3 common money mindset blocks that can get in the way of you making that 5K. All right. So let's start by talking about the most popular kinds of online businesses that you can start and how to make money with them. And we're going to do math. Well, I mean, I've really done the math already. It is not hard math, but I always get a little nervous when I say we're going to do math because, man, math is not my friend. But calculators are the greatest thing ever. So you don't actually have to be very good at math. So now your business, I digress because sometimes that happens. Your business will have revenue and expenses, right? You're going to, want to start a business that generates high revenue with low overhead, meaning low expenses. So we're going to do the math on two popular options. One of them is online service businesses, often coaching, right? And the other are digital products. So let's start with the service businesses and coaching, right? There are different ways to go about offering an online service-based business. But in general, when we are talking about the revenue model of those businesses, meaning how you're going to make money, that's what they mean. Revenue model is the method that you're going to use for making money. You can either charge for your time, or you can charge for the value of the service that you are providing. Now, if you are tutoring, for example, you are usually charging for your time. The challenge with this is that your time is the most important resource you have. It is the most, and you have limited amounts of it, right? You can keep increasing your hourly rate to make more money, but there's always going to be a limit to what you can make because you're going to hit a ceiling at some point. So here's a little math on charging for your time. If, say, you charge $40 an hour for tutoring, to make that $5K a month, you're going to need to teach roughly 125 hours a month, which is about 17 hours a week, to make that $5K mark. You're going to need multiple clients to make this work. It's going to require prep work. It can be exhausting and labor intensive, as you know, many of you who are teachers, okay? So that's 17 extra hours of just tutoring time, let alone the other time it's going to take to run your business, right? Because that's probably another, 4 or 5 hours a week to do that. Now, when you charge for the value, you're going to be setting a rate for your service, your offer, based on how valuable that service is going to be to the client and how much the market will bear, how much that market can handle, okay? And when we say how valuable it is to a client, I mean, your business is going to have to solve a problem that somebody has, right? That's the core of your business. It has to solve a problem that somebody has because people hire service providers to do one of three things: to save them time, to save them money or help them earn more money, right? Or to help them get to their goals faster and better than they can do on their own. Those are the three main reasons people pay a service provider to do a thing for them. Now, if your business doesn't do that, right? If it doesn't solve a problem and it doesn't do one of those three things, it's not going to sell. People aren't going to want it. So depending on your service and your ideal client, the sky is the limit when you are charging by value, okay? So let's do the math on this one. If you charge, let's say $1,400 a month for your coaching service, and say there are options of a 3-month and a 6-month package, right? A 3-month package is $4,200 for 3 months. A 6-month is $8,400 for a 6-month package of your coaching service. Maybe that service includes 1 hour every other week where you get together and you do live coaching, some other special resources and feedback and trainings in between those times. And maybe there's a group call with all of the clients monthly, okay? I'm just making up that that's the package, for instance. To make $5K a month, you are going to need to secure 3.5 clients a month, or 1.5 clients if they're buying the package and paying in full. This is what we would call a high ticket. So when you hear people talking about high ticket, this is what a high ticket is. Charging by value is quicker to get you to your 5K mark. It is less resource intensive, and it's also much easier to scale. And we're going to talk about what scale means in a minute, all right? So just by looking at that math, it is much quicker and much easier to get to that 5K mark. So we've talked a little bit about online services, right? And coaching specifically. Now, the other option let's talk about are digital products, because a lot of people do digital products as their side business. Now, digital products are a great business idea, partly because they generate what's called passive income. Now, the IRS categorizes income in 3 ways. There's active income, and this is the income that requires your regular time and effort to produce. So when you are tutoring, and you're getting paid to tutoring, you're creating active income because you have to use your time and your effort to produce that income, right? Then there's passive income. This is income that happens automatically without much work on your part, like digital products. So a digital product you create, you put it somewhere, right, on some platform or something like that, and then somebody pays for it. They buy it, and they can buy it. More people can buy it over and over and again without you having to do any extra work aside from, marketing and talking about it. But you don't have to create it again. You create it once, and generates income over and over and over again. That is what a passive income and a passive product is. So when we talk about digital products, they're a passive income, which is awesome. The IRS also has portfolio income, and this is income that comes from investments, but we're not talking about that right now. So digital products can be templates, right? They can be lesson plans, printables. They're things that you see sold on places like Teachers Pay Teachers or Etsy or any of those kind of platforms. And they also can be online courses that you can deliver. So let's talk about those printables. If you were selling a printable for, say, $10 a download, you're going to have to sell 500 downloads to make $5K a month. This is easy to get started, right? Especially if you have all those products already because you've created them, working, right, as an educator. You can upload them and go, more or less. But it is very, very hard to stand out in a crowded marketplace, right? Teachers Pay Teachers is an example of a place where it is a very crowded marketplace. Etsy is a very crowded marketplace. So you have to find a way to stand out. So that process of standing out can be a very time-intensive thing to do. Plus, you need to sell 500 of them, right? So let's talk about online courses. If you create a course and charge, I'm going to make this up, $475 for that course, you're going to need to sell 10.5 in order to make that $5K a month. Now, online courses are great. They can get you where you want to go financially, but they are deceptive in how much time it takes for you to make them and to test them. Because you can create that online course, you can put it up there, but if you have not tested that, what that means is that you have not put that curriculum, you have not put that that course in front of people already and tested whether it works or not. It can take you a while to really find a course that you have an audience that is really drawn to. So the most effective way that you are going to make 5K quickly in your side business is to create a high ticket service offer, charging by the value, and then adapt that into an online course, right? This is a great method because you can test out your service offer by doing it one-on-one with your clients. And then once you perfect that, right? Like once you really know what works and you've tested it and you've worked through it with actual clients, then you can adapt that into an online passive course. This allows you to start making money now while also taking advantage of that scalable nature of online courses. And scalable, all scalable means is that your revenue can grow without you needing to put more of your active time and attention into it, right? Just like those passive incomes in that digital product, once you make that digital product and it's already been tested, it's been proven that it works because you've done it with your one-on-one clients and it's generated results for all of them, you turn it into this online course, then all you have to do is continue to sell it and more people come in and then it scales faster, right? Now, often people think about charging $1,400 a month or $4,200 for a 3-month package, and they can't believe that somebody will pay that. Or they get scared off by that idea. And because it's expensive, right? Like it feels expensive, it sounds expensive, especially if you have never done anything like that before, right? Or maybe you've never even bought anything like that before, right? So it's new. Or maybe you don't even know anybody who has. But just because you haven't doesn't mean that somebody else won't. This is an example of a mindset block. So our money mindset makes up the beliefs, the attitudes that we have about money. And these beliefs, whether they're subconscious or conscious, drive our decisions and our actions when it comes to mastering our money. Right. And when it comes to the choices that we will make about what we will do. So these beliefs and attitudes come from our social conditioning, they come from our family, and they come from our personal experiences. OK, so let's talk about social conditioning for just a second. We're all born into a world of circumstances and expectations that tell us who we should be before we even get to make a choice about that. Okay. All of those things weave together, all those circumstances and those expectations from everything around us weave together into the stories that tell us who we are. They tell us what we can do, what we should want, and what we can have. Now, what does that have to do with money mindset, you ask? Our understanding of money and how we feel about it starts super, super early in life. According to 𝗨�est, which is an investment and financial literacy platform primarily focused on women, research shows that parents pay kids identified as boys twice as much allowance as they do their kids identified as girls. It's also worth noting that in one study, 65% of financial articles that are aimed at women told them that they are excessive spenders, and they encouraged women to find bargains, clip coupons, right? Control their splurges, right? Whereas articles aimed at men told them to dare to invest and to spend to increase their power. Heaven forbid we encourage women to spend and invest and increase their power. So 5 times more women than men live paycheck to paycheck without an emergency fund. And non-binary people, trans women, are 4 times more likely to live in extreme poverty than the population as a whole. So when you take this into consideration, you can understand how we have been conditioned to feel a certain way about money. Everybody has, not just women, men, everybody has been conditioned to feel a certain way about money. And then if you look at your family, right, your family views on money impact your own views on money, right? Like I always believed that money was available. You had to work really, really hard for it. It was very clear that hard work was the gateway to money, but it was there. It was always there. But how about you, right? How did your parents and your extended family talk about money? Were there arguments about it or silence? Was it never spoken of at all, right? Did your family have more money or not have money? Or did you even know? Did you have even a sense of whether or not your family had money, right? Maybe your family had strong feelings about rich people or poor people. Maybe they shared that openly with you by saying rich people are bad or poor people are lazy or vice versa, right? That's an example of how your family's relationship with money impacts your own. And then the third piece of this is that personal experiences, right? Along with your social conditioning and your family beliefs, there's also your own personal experience with money, right? What were the big events in your life that affected your experience, right? Maybe it was a job loss, maybe divorce or a raise or something like that. All of that's going to contribute to whether you think you can or deserve to make that $5K a month on your side business. So there are 3 common mindset traps that can get in the way of you starting that high ticket business and increasing your financial power and making money with confidence. Number 1 is tying self-worth to money. So self-worth is that deep understanding of your value. Like, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Am I worthy of love and belonging and all this? This is how we see ourselves independent of the traits and the things that we accomplish. So this shows up in our business when we are encouraged to charge what we are worth or raise our prices because we are worth it. Now, your worth is not tied to how much you make, how much you charge. You are worthy just because you are here, because you bless this beautiful, messy world with your presence, right? Setting your value-based rates and pricing your offer is that math equation, right? It's based on how much you need to make and what the market will bear. That's it. It has nothing to do with worth, okay? So success of our business is not the success of ourselves, right? So money is a means to an end. It is there to support the life we choose to live. It is there so we can live freely without being tethered to things and people and businesses that don't meet our values and needs. The second mindset block is all about scarcity, right? We need to cultivate an abundance mindset. When we believe that there's only a limited amount of things, right? Limited amount of money or clients, we are thinking in that scarcity space. When we think that if one person wins, I lose. If one person gets a client, there's one less for me, right? We're in that scarcity space. And this is bad for business because when you're running your business, you need to run it with an abundance mindset, right? Because you believe that there are an infinite amount of opportunities in clients and money. And when someone else gets a new client, that reinforces that, wow, they got a client. That means I can get a client, right? That means that there are clients out there to find. So our tendency to be abundant or scarcity minded comes from that family social conditioning stuff, right? And scarcity is problematic because it leads us to be reactionary, right? And not follow through on our plans. And it adds all this extra emotional stress and can make us competitive and jealous and fearful. And it's hard to build a business in that frame of mind, right? In that scarcity space. So where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself on the side of abundance or on the side of scarcity? Because if you are on that side of scarcity, it's going to affect whether you can make that 5K a month. Now, here's my favorite, my last one, money mindset, is rich people are assholes, is what I call this one. And this one has a tendency to surprise people, because if you think rich people are assholes, it is very hard to become a rich people, right? If you think people with money behave badly, you will always be reluctant to have money, because what? You don't want to be someone who behaves badly. So the reality is that money equals power equals choice. And that power and choice gives you freedom and independence to direct the events of your life any way you want. And money provides you the opportunity and the access to do what you will. If you believe that money equals power equals asshole, you are going to have a difficult time accessing that freedom and that independence, because you are going to have a difficult time choosing to make money. It is difficult to take the actions necessary to make money, to increase your revenue, plan for your financial success, if you believe you become an asshole if you have money and power. All right. So we have talked about a lot, right, today, and then we went a little longer than normal. I don't know. Maybe it's the Key West air. I'm zooming in from Key West today. But anyway, so we've talked about the difference between time and value-based pricing, right? The difference between service coaching businesses and digital product-based businesses. We have done the math on why starting a service or a coaching-based business is the fastest route to 5K, but not the only route. And we've outlined 3 money mindset traps that can get in the way of you making that extra 5K. Now, I have a book, right? An ebook on money mindsets. If you want that, put it in the comments, DM me, and we'll get it to you. It's all about those 3 money mindsets and what to do about them, right? How to not succumb to those money mindsets. Also, if you want that that training that we mentioned earlier that talks about the 3 keys to starting that side business, which is about your offer and your client, let us know. We'll send that to you as well. And in the meantime, have a good week, right? Think about what you would do with that 5K. Just think about it, and maybe wonder about some of those money mindset things, right? Think a little bit about what your personal experience with money, your family experience with money, all of that kind of stuff. I'd just be curious what you find out if you start digging into it. And let me know. All right. Thanks. Bye.